General James Hawkins watched with pride as the 2,000-pound tungsten slug cut through the sky, slamming into the distant target with tremendous force. "Bullseye!" shouted Lieutenant Commander Alvarez, eyes gleaming with excitement. Hawkins nodded, a small smile tugging at his lips. "Another success for the Planetary Defense Initiative," he said, his gruff voice tinged with satisfaction. For the past 2 decades, world governments had poured countless resources into developing these colossal weapons. Stretching over a mile in length, the railguns could launch projectiles at speeds exceeding Mach 30, with enough kinetic energy to obliterate even the most formidable targets. The idea was first conceived during the height of the Second Cold War, when the threat of nuclear annihilation loomed large. Conventional missiles and aircraft were deemed too vulnerable, easily intercepted by advanced defensive systems. But a railgun, with its unparalleled velocity and destructive power, could penetrate even the most sophisticated shields. Thus began a global effort, bringing together the brightest minds in physics, engineering, and material science. Superconducting magnets, hypersonic aerodynamics, and cutting-edge computational models were meticulously refined and optimized. Progress was slow, often frustratingly so, but each successful test brought scientists and engineers closer to their goal. Breakthroughs in capacitor design allowed for higher muzzle velocities. Advancements in targeting and guidance systems ensured pinpoint accuracy, and new alloys capable of withstanding immense forces pushed the limits of possibility. As years passed, the railguns grew more formidable. Initial prototypes with modest ranges and payloads were overshadowed by larger, more powerful incarnations. 12-meter barrels gave way to 50-meter behemoths, their articulated mounts capable of swiveling in a full 360-degree arc. These weapons dwarfed even the largest battleships of old, and each new generation unveiled stirred military enthusiasm. "With these guns we can strike any target, anywhere in the solar system," General Hawkins declared at the unveiling of the latest model. "No enemy will be beyond our reach." And he was right. The railguns became the ultimate deterrent, a technological marvel that rendered conventional warfare obsolete. Any alien power daring to challenge Earth's sovereignty would be swiftly crushed by a barrage of hypersonic projectiles. But for all their power and prestige, the railguns were never intended for aggressive use. They were a deterrent to ensure Earth's safety. "We're not here to wage war," Hawkins said, gazing at the distant horizon. "We're here to prevent it." Alvarez nodded, understanding the gravity of their mission. "Yes, sir. These guns will ensure no one dares attack us." The 2 officers stood in silence, watching as support crews began the arduous process of reloading the massive weapon. It was a delicate task, requiring coordination from dozens of highly trained technicians. "How many of these do we have now?" Alvarez asked, scanning the sprawling military complex. 28, Hawkins replied with a hint of pride, "and another dozen under construction around the world." Alvarez whistled, eyebrows raised. "I guess the brass is serious about planetary defense." Hawkins chuckled, a rare display of mirth. "You have no idea." The scale of the initiative was staggering. Across the globe, similar complexes housed formidable arrays of railguns, united in their purpose to safeguard Earth from potential threats. Whether from catastrophic asteroid impacts or other dire scenarios, the railguns provided a sense of security. Of course, the development of these colossal weapons had not been without controversy. The sheer cost, estimated in the trillions of dollars, drew ire from some who argued the money could be better spent on social or environmental programs. Proponents of the initiative countered that countless lives would be saved in the event of a catastrophic attack. With the specter of war always looming, the military and political establishment remained steadfast in their support. Day in and day out, work continued as the railguns grew ever more powerful and complex. Scientists and engineers pushed the boundaries of possibility, driven by a sense of purpose that transcended politics or ideology. For them, it was about safeguarding humanity's future, ensuring their children and grandchildren inherited a world free from the threat of annihilation. The night sky was suddenly illuminated by a series of brilliant flashes. General Hawkins and Lieutenant Commander Alvarez, on their way to the officers' mess, froze in their tracks, attention riveted. "What the hell?" Alvarez muttered, brow furrowed. Hawkins didn't respond, eyes scanning the sky. A series of massive explosions rocked the complex, sending debris and dust billowing. "Get to the command center now," Hawkins barked, sprinting towards the reinforced bunker housing the facility's nerve center. Alvarez followed, heart pounding, trying to make sense of the situation. Inside the command center was a frenzy of activity. Duty officers' fingers flew across keyboards as they attempted to understand the unfolding crisis. "Report!" Hawkins demanded, his voice cutting through the din. A pale-faced young lieutenant turned to him. "Sir, we're under attack. Unknown hostile vessels approaching from high orbit. They're unlike anything we've ever seen." Hawkins felt a chill. "Hostile vessels? How many?" "At least a dozen, sir. They seem heavily armed, but our railguns are engaging them." Alvarez stepped forward. "Have we made contact? Tried to communicate?" The lieutenant shook her head. "Negative, sir. They haven't responded to our hails. It's as if they're ignoring us." Hawkins exchanged a troubled glance with Alvarez. "Bring up the tactical display. I want a full sit-rep." The large screen flickered to life, revealing a real-time depiction of the battle. Massive railguns, their barrels elevated, unleashed a barrage of hypersonic projectiles. The alien vessels, angular craft defying aerodynamics, fired back with unknown weapons. "They're using some kind of directed energy weapons," a technician reported. "The impacts are tearing our railguns apart like paper." Hawkins gritted his teeth. "Scramble all available air and missile units. We need to buy time for the railguns to regroup and reload." As the command center sprang into action, Alvarez turned to Hawkins, expression grim. "Sir, do we have any idea what these things are? Where they're from?" Hawkins shook his head. "No, and that's what worries me. We've never encountered anything like this. It's like they're from another world entirely." The lieutenant spoke up, voice trembling. "That's exactly what we think, sir. Our analysts believe these vessels are extraterrestrial." Hawkins felt a knot of dread. Extraterrestrial invaders. The thought was almost too much to comprehend. For centuries, humanity believed it was alone, secure in the knowledge that its technological might could defend Earth. Now, that notion was shattered. As the battle raged, the alien craft seemed impervious to the railguns' firepower. Hawkins knew they were facing an unprecedented threat. The air roared with jet engines as advanced fighter bombers streaked across the sky, missile pods unleashing a barrage of weapons. To the officer's horror, the alien vessels shrugged off the attacks, energy weapons slicing through aircraft with ease. One by one, planes fell, their mangled remains plummeting to the ground. Still, the alien ships advanced on the railgun complex. Hawkins clenched his fists. "Damn it! Why aren't the railguns working?" The lieutenant's fingers flew across her console. "Sir, the alien weapons are disrupting our targeting and guidance systems. We're having trouble maintaining a lock." Alvarez swore under his breath. "So, what? We just sit here and watch them tear us apart?" Hawkins was about to respond when an explosion rocked the command center, sending sparks and debris flying. Lights flickered, and the tactical display went dark. "Status report," Hawkins barked. "We've taken a direct hit, sir," the lieutenant shouted. "Main power is down and we've lost communication with the outer defenses." Alvarez's eyes widened. "That means the railguns are defenseless." Hawkins felt a chill. Without the railguns, the complex was vulnerable to the alien onslaught. "Get those systems back online now," Hawkins ordered, desperation in his voice. "We need to buy some time or we're all dead." The command center erupted into activity as technicians and officers worked feverishly. But as minutes ticked by, it became clear they were fighting a losing battle. Outside, the alien ships continued their assault, energy weapons tearing through railgun emplacements. One by one, the massive weapons fell silent, their barrels reduced to twisted wrecks. Hawkins watched the unfolding disaster, heart sinking with each moment. The railguns, the cornerstone of the Planetary Defense Initiative, were being swept aside. "Sir, we've lost contact with half the railgun sites," the lieutenant reported. "The aliens are taking them out one by one." Alvarez stepped forward. "We need to evacuate, sir. There's nothing more we can do here. Hawkins hesitated, the idea of abandoning the complex and personnel almost too much to bear. No, he said. We fight. We fight until the last man. Alvarez opened his mouth to protest, but Hawkins raised a hand. We're the last line of defense, Alvarez. If we fall, the planet falls. Hawkins turned back to the tactical display, eyes narrowing. There had to be a weakness. Sir, the alien ships are focusing their fire on the main railgun control center, the lieutenant reported. If they take that out, we'll be defenseless. Hawkins nodded. Then that's where we make our stand. Divert all available power to the main railgun. We're going to hit them with everything we've got. The command center erupted into activity. The main railgun, a massive weapon dwarfing even the largest counterparts, began to come to life, its capacitors charging with a deafening hum. Alvarez stepped up to Hawkins. Sir, you know this is a suicide mission, right? Hawkins met his gaze. Maybe, but if we can take out their command ship, it might be enough to turn the tide. We have to try. Alvarez nodded. I'm with you, sir, until the end. As the alien ships closed in, the main railgun fired, its massive projectile tearing through the void with devastating force. The command center held its breath as the slug slammed into the lead alien vessel. The impact was catastrophic. The alien ship's shields flared brightly before collapsing. The railgun's round punched through the hull, decimating the enemy craft. Atmosphere vented into space as the ship broke apart, its menacing form reduced to debris. A cheer went up in the command center, but the triumph was short-lived. The remaining alien ships broke formation, surging forward and opening fire. The command center became alive with shouted orders and frantic activity as they readied defensive batteries. They knew they had only bought a brief respite. As the alien ships pressed their attack, the command crew braced for the onslaught. Defensive batteries opened up, pouring a barrage of fire into the approaching vessels. Missiles slammed into alien shields with tremendous force. The railguns, commanded by Hawkins and Alvarez, proved deadlier than anticipated. Salvos of metal slugs tore through alien formations, shredding hulls and sending ships out of control. The enemy ships, their shields overwhelmed, were no match for the human railguns. After the battle, the alien vessels were salvaged. Their advanced propulsion, shielding, and weaponry dwarfed human capabilities. This serendipitous event proved a boon. With access to alien technologies, engineers and scientists could reverse engineer them, propelling technological progress. Within months, humanity achieved faster-than-light travel, adapting alien engines for their use. But this was just the beginning. Delving deeper into alien designs, they made astounding discoveries, developing hyperdrives for near-instantaneous travel. Space suddenly seemed smaller, and possibilities for exploration limitless. Humanity's technological revolution extended beyond hardware. They embraced artificial intelligence, granting it equal rights as sentient beings. This bold move fueled progress, as AI worked alongside humans, bringing immense computational power to bear. The aliens, who attacked Earth for its resources, found themselves falling behind. Once confident in their superiority, they watched in frustration as humans surpassed them. General Hawkins, eyes narrowed, muttered, "They must be worried." "That's just the beginning, sir," Alvarez said. "Now we take the fight to them." Hawkins turned to his second-in-command, a grim smile on his face. "Prepare the fleet. We're going to show these aliens what humanity is capable of." The next phase of the human offensive was bold. Equipping ships with reverse-engineered alien technology, they launched lightning strikes into enemy territory. Alien worlds, once impregnable, now found themselves vulnerable. The human fleet moved with speed and precision, overwhelming enemy defenses and seizing key assets. They learned the alien civilization was a fragmented confederation of warring factions. Capturing a high-ranking commander, they uncovered deep divisions and infighting. Using this intelligence, humans devised a strategy to drive a wedge between factions, sowing chaos. Battles were fierce, with both sides employing advanced weapons and tactics. Humans, driven to protect their home and secure their place in the galaxy, fought with tenacity. As dust settled, commanders stood amidst alien armadas' ruins, awe and disbelief on their faces. They had repelled the invasion and secured a decisive strategic advantage. General Hawkins, eyes on the horizon, murmured, "We've done it. We've proven humanity can stand toe-to-toe with the greatest civilizations in the galaxy." Colonel Alvarez nodded. "This is just the beginning, sir. Now the real work begins."